Another special video for you. In this video we are going to talk about the 7 richest countries in the world. GDP, or the gross domestic product, is a measure of wealth in the country coming from sources including export revenues, incomes, consumption, and the value of goods and services the country produces in a span of a year. Here is the ranking of the 15 richest countries globally using their GDP per capita using Purchasing Power Parity, PPP. PPP is a popular metric used by macroeconomic analysts that compare different countries' currencies through a cost of a basket of goods and allows for a more direct comparison of economic productivity and living standards between countries. Number 7. Norway. Norway is known to have the highest standard of living on Earth and ranked top on the Human Development Index with its advanced education systems, distinct social security system, and universal health care. Its raw oil and gas resources exports lead the economy, while abundant reserves guarantee future prosperity, including seafood, hydropower, lumber, minerals, natural gas, and freshwater. Petroleum is another export that has been bringing Norway riches since the 1970s. The government invests in free education for its citizens, while parents ensure that kids learn the importance of productivity from an early age in school. Keeping busy with work is a cultural staple in Norway, without which citizens do not find joy in life. The main occupancies include telecommunications and technologies, featuring low unemployment and poverty rates at 3% and 0.5%, respectively. It is no wonder that Norway's standard of living is strived for by other nations. Although things cost a lot in Norway, Norwegians don't mind investing back into their economy, while having high purchasing power through high wages enables them to spend extravagantly abroad. Number 6. United Arab Emirates. Back when it was known as the Trucial States, the pearl industry prevailed in this country from the 1770s until the late 1930s, when pearl diving was a hobby turned into a significant source of income for the people living in the small villages. Having been able to establish some of the most luxurious resorts in the world, Dubai, along with the rest of the country, has moved on to tourism, which keeps investing in itself through ongoing growth and popularity. The discovery of oil in the late 1950s caused a clash between Dubai and Abu Dhabi citizens, with the latter getting the upper hand over the oil boundaries and becoming richer while the former struggled. While Abu Dhabi thrived, the ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum, did not lose hope in his state's potential, loaning tens of billions of dollars to invest in the state's infrastructure in 1958, completing its first airport by 1960. Number 5. Switzerland. Considered one of the happiest and healthiest nations on earth, Switzerland is home to German, French and Italian-speaking citizens, living peacefully and thriving together for over 800 years. Even with its high cost of living, expensive products, and services, and the Swiss franc's extremely high value with a high conversion rate to other currencies, people stream to engage with this country through business or tourism. A stable economy with a fixed currency value, Switzerland is regarded highly by investors searching for a safe haven for highly profitable feats. Attractive tax rates bring in investment, while international companies seek to expand their business to Switzerland. The Swiss are an innovative bunch, craftily turning natural resources into quality goods such as their highly demanded chocolate, cheese, jewelry, home decor, and furniture. Exports contribute the most to the GDP, with gems and precious metals bringing nearly $100 billion a year, followed by pharmaceuticals and machinery. The mountains, the charm of its cities, and the luxurious lifestyle call out millions of tourists every year, while the highly developed tourism sector does not frighten off with its high prices. With no capital gains tax, a low value-added tax on its products at 7.7%, and lower than average income taxes, the Swiss also enjoy investing in their economy, preferring to buy local, paying for garbage disposal, and their inexcusably expensive bottles of water. Number 4. Ireland. Low corporate taxes continuously attract numerous multi-billion-dollar companies to relocate and grow their business in Ireland, contributing to the GDP and the high standard of living for the people. Although citizens receive high wages, the income per capita has been growing much slower than the collective GDP. Nevertheless, the country's stability and ongoing wealth gained from tourism, agriculture, and manufacturing is coveted by others. The country's main exports comprise metals and food products, including brewing, computers, parts and software, and textiles. Ireland is also largely dependent on its tertiary industry, including call centers, legal services, accounting, customer service, stockbroking, and catering. Number 3. Qatar. With only a small fishing industry and almost no schools just 50 years ago, the once sleeping peninsula off Saudi Arabia's eastern coast has become a significant oil-exporting world center in the last 2 decades. Qatar first began massive exports of natural in 1997 to Japan and Spain, expanding to other countries in the early 2000s. 15 years and 14 natural gas plants later, its GDP has grown exponentially from $30 billion to over $200 billion. Qatar has the largest natural gas reserves globally, following Russia and Iran, at nearly 900 trillion cubic feet, earning 60% of its collective GDP. Having discovered oil in 1939 and natural gas 30 years later, it began producing 46,500 barrels per day in 1951. Although some of the revenue was used to start modernizing the country, the royal family accumulated much of it, with shares also going to Great Britain, its ruling country. After gaining independence in 1971, Khalifa bin Hamad deposed his father and increased spending on social programs, housing, health, education, and pensions, cutting the royal family's allowances. The country also receives significant returns on investments in foreign brands, banks, and even the Paris Saint-Germain soccer team and real estate in London. Number 2. Singapore. Having no natural resources to build its economy on has not stopped the hardworking and inventive Singaporeans from turning their country into the second richest in the world. Being a central world hub for global financial services firms drives the economy. The jobs in manufacturing, services, transport engineering, and logistics pay its citizens well, while electronics, biotechnology, and chemicals are the country's main exports. By erecting high-end infrastructure and significantly expanding its tourism sector, Singapore attracts millions of tourists every year. On top of that, the government procured a very investor-friendly economic environment of free trade, open market, and attractively low tax rates, sought after by international firms and business travelers. Number 1. Luxembourg. Known for high income levels and a low unemployment rate, Luxembourg is the richest country in the world. With its inflation rate at only 1.1%, its wealth is also extremely stable. According to the World Economic Forum, the primary factor for Luxembourg's high GDP is the large number of people working in this tiny, landlocked nation while residing in the neighboring Western European countries. The advanced infrastructure and high values for the labor market attract investment and duplicates of the big outside firms. Having depended on the steel and iron industry for a long time, until it stopped bringing profit in the 1970s, the nation adapted superbly. Today, as one of the most educated labor forces in the world, Luxembourg prospers from a mix of industries, predominantly, and an import-export economy based on financial services. Small to medium-sized companies expanded, while multinational corporations highly demand a highly skilled labor force with the ability to speak multiple languages. There is also a small but prosperous agricultural sector in the country. The video has come to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot for us to continue bringing this type of content here. Until the next video.